On today's episode, the CEO of Hildervat, Dan Woods. Welcome to the OCR Report podcast, brought to you by the OCRreport.com. We are the only podcast to focus exclusively on the elite sport of obstacle course racing, from Spartan to Tough Mudder to the OCR World Championships, and wherever the elites are racing, we are there. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the OCR Report. Welcome back to the OCR Report podcast. How have you been? How has your 2020 been? It's quite the year, huh? Quite the year. Thank you for listening to the OCR Report podcast. My name is Will Hicks. You can email me, willhicks@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at the OCR Report. I would love to see you there. Today on our show, Dan Woods. Dan is the CEO of Hildervat, a new obstacle course race. And I am very excited to have him on here. There are not a lot of live events going on. We're going to talk about this in a minute in the news, but not a lot of live events. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of over the virtual thing, right? Virtual meetings. I'm glad it's an option. I'm glad we can Zoom in if we need to. Virtual everything. Virtual 5Ks. They're great. Love the medals, love the t-shirts, but no one signs up for a race to run by yourself. You can run for free, right? So very excited about new race in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. But before we talk Hildervat, let's talk some news. Another company still doing live races. Spartan and Tough Mudder are kind of on a break, kind of not. I'll talk about that in a minute. But a company doing live races as much as they can is Savage Race. And Savage they just had their race in Dallas last week. And you know who's kind of been crushing it? Fourth place World's Toughest Mudder finisher, Alex Walker. Kind of been crushing it. She got first place in Dallas in 1:02:48. Second place behind her was Chris Roglowski in 1:04:09. And third place was Jane Callahan in 1:26:23. On the men's side at Savage Dallas, first place was Mark Batras, 48:41. Second place behind him, another familiar name, Victor Casada, in 50 minutes and 36 seconds. And third place, another name, good to see again, Van Tran, in 51:24. Some other names on this list that are familiar. In fourth place was Benny Gifford in 53:21. Good to see Benny on there. And in eighth place, I don't actually know this guy, but the name is familiar. Joseph Mendoza. Christopher Mendoza. Joseph Mendoza. I don't know if there's any relation to Christopher Mendoza, but congratulations to Joseph. Joseph in eighth place, 1:01:12. Congratulations to all of the finishers at Savage Race Dallas. So live races are few and far between right now, but they're not non-existent. There's this race we're going to talk about this weekend in Jacksonville. There is also, I was looking at Spartan's website and I didn't realize this. Did you know there's a hurricane heat going on? There are hurricane heats going on still. The traditional OCR races that you think of, like run a 5K, run a 10K, do bucket carries, do sandbag pulls, do spear throws. Those Spartan races are not going on in the U.S. right now. But check this out. This weekend, October 23rd, Austin Spartan Hurricane Heat. October 24th, Ohio Spartan Hurricane Heat. So if you're kind of itching to get back out there with some fellow Spartans, and you're near Austin or Ohio, or even if you're not, man, get on a plane, wear your mask on the plane, and go do a Hurricane Heat. Hurricane Heat is very different from a regular OCR. So go to Spartan.com, make sure you know what you're signing up for. It's much more team focused, and It will probably be overnight, and it might not be as much fun as you're expecting, but there are people that love the hurricane heats. So if you're anxious to be around the Spartan community again, there's one chance for you. October 23rd in Austin, October 24th in Ohio. On the Tough Mudder side, it's not in person, but virtual World's Toughest Mudder is coming up the second week of November. So if you're interested in that, you should check it out. Also, on the Tough Mudder and Spartan front, Tough Mudder and Spartan are doing a lot right now selling their season passes. And if you are interested in racing next year, you should check it out. The Tough Mudder, we did a whole episode on this, on Tough Mudder passes over on World's Toughest Podcast. There are 3 options: regional pass, season pass, and an all events pass. Regional is, they broke the U.S. into 4 regions, and you get 5 races for $429. Season pass is $549. Add World's Toughest, you can $899. And then the all events pass is kind of everything. All the U.S., all international, $1,400. That's if you're going to get after it in 2021. If you're like 2021 is the year I crushed Tough Mudder, then you want to get the Tough Mudder all events season pass. It's a lot of money, but it'll pay for itself if you're out there every weekend. On the Spartan side for passes, you've got 4 options. You have the trifecta pass for $350, $349. It's 3 races: the sprint, the super, and the beast. You can get the open for $799, which is unlimited open heats in the U.S. You get the age group pass, which is unlimited age group heats in the U.S. And you can get the elite pass, which is $1,200 for unlimited U.S. elite heats. So if you're open, age, or elite, and you want to do a bunch of Spartan races next year, those are your jams. I don't see anything on their website about international passes. Like Tough Mudder has one pass where you can do all their international races. Spartan has a lot more international options than the Tough Mudder brand. This kind of, with the passes like this, they're kind of, if you want to do lots of Spartans and you want to do lots of Tough Mudders, they kind of need a unified pass, don't they? How much would that cost? If you got the top Tough Mudder pass, it'd be $1,400. And the top Spartan pass, you don't need, if you're going to, the top Spartan pass is $1,200, but that's for the elite heats. If you want to do open heats, it's just $800. So you could get away $800 with Spartan, $1,400 Tough Mudder. That's $2,200. Maybe they make it $2,000. All of the Spartans and Tough Mudders you want in the U.S. They got to add the international Spartans on there though. That might make it sticky, or make it tricky. Anyway, if you are serious about 2021, if you're like, you know what, I'm done with 2020. I've already got my Christmas tree out. We're just calling it for the year. Then get a season pass, man. Put money on the table. Commit before you're ready. And then get ready. Live races. Let's talk some live races that are going on. We're talking about the Hildervat in a minute. Talked about hurricane heat. And there's also DECA. If you are a DECA Fit fan, you should go to deca.fit and check out all the options they have right now. All the time. There are DECA Fit events going on all over. Now, it's not traditional OCR. You're not climbing over cargo nets, but it is run by Spartan. I'd say it's Spartan, or it's OCR adjacent. It's kind of like how Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but it's Christmas adjacent. DECA is not an OCR race, but it's OCR adjacent. Spartan has several members of the family right now. They have trail running. They have a bike race that they're doing. They have, obviously, OCR that we're used to, that we're familiar with. And they have DECA Fit, which is more functional fitness, CrossFit style movements, but it's stuff that anyone can come off the street and do. There's no walking handstands in DECA Fit. Everything is actions that anyone off the street could do. Obviously, if you're stronger, you'll do it faster. You'll be better at it. But anyway, it's very. I haven't done a DECA Fit yet. I've talked to Yancey Culp, who's helping run it for Spartan, about it multiple times. Very excited about DECA Fit. But if you want to compete, if you're looking for something to push against, then check out DecaFit, Spartan Hurricane Heat, and this Hildervat this weekend. Very excited about that. Also, check out Savage. Savage had a race in Dallas. They have another one coming up later this year. It's not live OCR either, but also falling in the OCR adjacent category is the Spartan Games that Spartan recently held out in Pittsfield, Vermont. They invited 12 men and 12 women out to Joe DeSena's farm. They had a competition out there. They recorded it all, and it'll be on YouTube this fall or this winter. And once it goes live, we will talk more about it. But all the information is currently under embargo. So the athletes are known. There were some big name guys and girls: Ryan Atkins, Hunter McIntyre, Lindsey Webster, Nicole Miracle, other names you recognize, but then also non-OCR names. Kind of like when, I don't know if it was MMA or Ultimate Fighting Championships first began, when they had like sumo wrestlers fighting against Taekwondo guys, fighting against like bar brawlers. They just threw them all in the octagon to see who was the toughest guy. Anyway, that'll air on the Spartan YouTube channel later this year. We'll talk about that when it happens. It'll be fun to watch. Let's read some iTunes reviews.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars.
First review comes from Bradley B. from the United States. Bradley B. writes, 5 stars. Great podcast. Shorter episodes. Love the podcast. Always get to hear your voice. Reference to your question, I'd much rather have shorter episodes than one long one. For example, 3 30-minute episodes are much more appealing to me than a single 90-minute episode. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks, Bradley B. 15. I appreciate the kind words. I've talked about this before. When I open my podcast player and I see like a 3-hour episode or even like a 90-minute episode, I'm like, man, I don't want homework. And so I try and make the episode shorter, right? Like and it's kind of a lesson I learned, like when we were first starting with World Subs Podcast, and we'd have, 5 men. I had episodes with 5 men and 5 women from the same race in one episode from an 8-hour, 12-hour toughest mudder race. I literally had like 2-hour, 3-hour episodes. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. And so I was talking about how I don't want to have super long episodes anymore. And then like the next episode I had was a long one, and Ryan Atkins was a guest on it. It was a race he won. And then like the next week I interviewed Lindsey Webster, and she was like, yeah, you were talking about how you don't like long episodes, and then your next episode with my husband was a super long one. And I was like, yep, busted. You're right. Thanks, Lindsey. So anyway, Bradley B agrees with Lindsey Webster. Keep the episodes shorter. Bradley, I'll do my best. Thank you for the kind words. We'll see what happens. If you would like to leave a review for the show on Apple Podcasts, you can go to, this is a new thing. Go to lovethepodcast.com/OCR. lovethepodcast.com/OCR. And you will have options to leave reviews for the show there. You'll have 4 options: iTunes, Podchaser, Stitcher, and Castbox. And if you already left a review, you can leave another one on Podchaser or on Castbox. Leave a review, and I will read it on a future episode. I would appreciate it. Today on our show, Dan Woods. Dan, in the midst of a pandemic, is launching a new business, and that new business is an obstacle course race with a Viking/water theme to it. His first race is on the beach, and they have plans for the races to be on beaches or on the shores of lakes. It's kind of a interesting twist on a concept. 5K for the first one, 10K for future races, 5 and 10K future races, and with full size, legitimate, real obstacles. This isn't one of those. I don't want to criticize any specific brands, but there's some smaller, 5K races that just kind of throw some tubes out there for you to crawl through and charge it. Or maybe they charge you nothing. They charge you $30. They charge you nothing, but they charge you $20 for parking and $5 for a packet pickup. I don't know. But no, this is like a real, like go to their website, hildervat.com, and check out their obstacles. He talks about them in our talk here in a minute. But very excited to talk live OCR in the middle of 2020. It's time to talk with Dan Woods. Let's go to the phones. Dan Woods, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dan, you are the CEO of a new obstacle course race called Hildervat. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's an honor, and we're just super excited to be having a race here this year.
Especially this year. You have your first race coming up this weekend, and it's just a couple days away. How is the last minute prep going for it? We ripped 1,000 different directions, but it's a little bit crazy, but good. I mean, we've got a plan, and we're ready, and this is our third shot at this. Our other two got canceled, so we're super excited to be definitely on for Saturday. I want to know about the race, but first tell me about the name. What does Hildervat mean?
It means nothing. No, I'm kidding you. It was originally what we wanted to do. We wanted to do a Viking thing. We wanted to call it Viking race. There's so many Viking everything. Viking NFL, Viking high school. Every high school mascot's the Viking. My high school was the Viking. So that wasn't going to fly as we started to put this together, when we want to trademark it and have something unique. So I went out and I looked at the Old Norse language, and which is basically a dead language. So everything's kind of made up, or as best as we can, best as history can recollect. And I took two words. I took Hilder, which is battle, and Vat, which is water, and put those together for Hildervat. So it's the water battle. We're on the beach, lakes, and we're always going to have that element of water in the battle.
So tell me about that. Your location for this first race is in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. How do you incorporate the water or the beach?
So we are actually, the obstacles are set up on the beach. So the participants, the racers will come out there, we'll race and climb over the obstacles and have at it all over the beach. We're going to take the bucket carry through the water, in the water. And we're going to continue to add to it as we can. But for now, we're going to get some water. We're going to get wet in there. But for sure, the whole thing is out and back on the beach in Jax Beach.
So you're running on the sand right next to the ocean?
Correct.
How long is the race?
It's a 5K. We're a little limited, to go take up so much beach. So we're out a mile and a half, back a mile and a half, and then at the 10th on there. So it's a shorter race, but it's packed with 15 plus obstacles. The biggest obstacle, in my opinion, is the sand. So,
tell me about the obstacles. How many obstacles? What you mentioned a bucket carry. What type of obstacles can the racers expect?
You're going to see some good standard obstacles. They're full aluminum truss obstacles on the main ones that you would normally encounter, like multi-rig, A-frame cargo, vertical cargo, sandbag hoist. You're going to see a lot of those. We've also got a warp wall, a quarter pipe, which is pretty cool. And one of the unique things about our race is we're going to do a race within the race. And so we're going to have our elite heats run. We're going to run a couple of open heats, and then we're going to regroup. We're going to take we're going to stop the course at that point at 10 o'clock, and we're going to run a relay race, 4-person relays. And it's going to be like a swim relay where we'll start the first leg of the run will start at the starting line. They'll hit 4 killer obstacles, multi-rig, quarter pipe, rope climb, and vertical cargo. Switch timing chips with the second runner, then back to the start line for the third runner, back out to the fourth runner, and close it out. And fastest team wins $600, $400 for second place, $200 for third.
Let's talk about prize money. Tell me the prize money for the relay race again.
Relay race is going to be $600 for first prize, $400 for second prize, $200 for third prize. And what's really cool about that, it's going to be kind of that relay. It's going to be that relay race in really kind of Ninja Warrior style, where the crowd, the spectators, can really see the runners on the whole course. It's going to be about an eighth of a mile, so you can kind of walk with them or look down and see them. So you're going to be able to watch that race transpire right in front of you, as opposed to you see the guys take off, they go off in the mountains somewhere, you don't see them again, and then they come back in and, for the exciting finish. Here you're going to be able to experience the excitement all along.
Tell me about the prize money for the individuals, men and women.
Yeah, so overall, male and female, first prize is $500, second prize is $250, third prize is $150, and male and female masters is $150.
So we're talking in October here. It's been a crazy year. Not a lot of OCR races have happened. What are your guys' plans as far as health and safety, those kind of issues you have to think through?
Yeah, so before we get into that, too, just wanted to reiterate, in those elite heats, too, we're also going to do age group medals, prizes, first through third in each age group, too. So really nice podium medal as well.
Great. So cash prizes for the elites and medals for the age group podium.
Age groups. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And as far as, for this year with COVID and everything, we've got our guidance from the county here, Duval County, and basically the city of Jacksonville. There's a few things we've got to do. It's a little bit of a downplayed festival area. We're going to social distance, obviously. We've got to keep the festival area. It's a huge festival area that we're in. Jax Beach has a wonderful Seawalk Pavilion with a stage on it and everything. So it's very large, but we're going to keep the crowd below 250 so we can spread out easily. We're going to have hand sanitizers, hand washing stations, and we're going to keep our distance. And then if we are in under 6 feet, we'll keep masks on. So, and the weather is supposed to be gorgeous. So nice and warm, 85 degrees, sunny. There's a little bit of rain in the afternoon on the forecast, but that shouldn't affect us too bad. We should be in great shape. So, should be a really fun, safe race for us.
Dan, I haven't run an OCR this year. What is the mask situation for the runners?
So we leave it up to the runner. If you want to wear a mask on the course, you can. If you want to take the mask off on the course, you can. If you want to mask up in the our heats are going to be around 25 folks. So we're going to be, and we've got a large corral, so we can spread out really well in distance. If you want to crowd up on the line and you're not comfortable, put a mask on, and then pop it off there on the run. But for the most part, you can stay spread apart and you can get out there and get going. So outdoors, to me, that's the safest place you can be.
You mentioned this is your third shot at making it happen. Tell me about those first two attempts. What happened?
Do we have to go there?
We don't have
it's
to.
Frustrating.
It sounds like a good story.
But it's frustrating, I mean, we gear up, we get everything ready, we're locked and loaded, and our first one was May 30th, and that's gone, and so everything's kind of shut down and quarantined. Look, everybody went through a lot this year, and that's just kind of our story too. We had another one for August, and got caught up in a little bit of a surge in cases and everything too, and in North Florida, so that got put on the back burner. So we took another shot. Actually, this is kind of our fourth. We were supposed to be last Sunday. The tides were super high. I mean, it was a crazy super tide, and we had no beach, so we moved it to this Saturday, which worked out perfect. I like the Saturday race much better anyway.
Those high tides, that'd give you that water race you want there.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'd be the whole thing it'd be a swim. It'd be an OCR swim, which might not be. That'd be different, right?
I saw on your website that you talk about how your company is like designed by racers. What's your background in OCR?
Just, an advocate. I've been racing now for 5-6 years. I've done about 50 races on everything. I just went out and loved it, and did Spartans, did Savages, done Rugged Maniacs, done Tough Mudders, done Warrior Dash, just whatever I can get my hands on, whatever came through, and travel to them and stuff like that. My kids race them. My kids will be out there running. They're pretty good, actually. They're a lot faster than me. And friends, and, just built that community that so many of us OCR racers know and understand. We just have that camaraderie and that love for this sport. And I think that's the main reason why this is the fastest growing sport in the world.
Talk about the kids. What's the minimum age for families who want to bring the teenagers out or the kids?
Well, we're going to try to do. We had a kids race scheduled for August that got canceled. We're not going to do a kids race this one, just with logistics on the beach and everything. But 13 to run it, and we encourage them to run, with family, mom and dad or whatever. But we can get out there on 13 and in any open heat, like anything else, if you're uncomfortable with it, go around it. We're not going to really enforce tight. If you want to run it like the elites run it, like the pros run it, then we're going to do 30 burpees as penalties here. We're going to do some other type of penalties as well, but just for spacing and things like that, instead of lap penalties and things like that, run penalties, we're going to do 30 burpees here. But yeah, kids are encouraged and young kids are encouraged. Both my younger boys did their first race at 14 or whatever the minimum age was, and just absolutely loved it. Crushed it. I had a hard time keeping up with them, so it's been good.
So for the elites that are running, you mentioned penalties. If they fail an obstacle, it's a 30 burpee penalty, and then they can continue?
Then they can continue, correct. On the relay race, you've got to complete the obstacle. So if you failed an obstacle, you have to go back and do it again.
So
but on the regular race, it's going to be regular. Yeah, fail a penalty, 30 burpees before you can move on.
Sure. So This weekend's the race. So it'll be successful. What's the next plan for Hildervat?
We're going to try to go back to our venue that was scheduled in August. It's a fantastic venue. It's not on the beach, but it's got a big lake, and it's about 250 acres, and it's incredible. It's one of the coolest venues I've ever seen, and to put a race on that. And that one we can do a 10K and a 5K on. So we can do a little bit bigger race on Saturday and then a shorter race on Sunday. So our plan is to get back there. And then we're looking at some super secret Florida sites, that we're going to be able to make not so secret soon. There's a lot of efforts, but yeah, we're going to try to get up and down the state of Florida, keep with the water theme. What I love is these venues, and we can do a lot of them in Florida, where we can go out, start on the beach, finish on the beach, run in the middle on the beach, but then we can also run out and hit some trails and do some small hills, but we can go out and do some trails too. So there's a lot of cool locations that our team has scoped out and spotted out that we can do the water battle and then go back and do some trails, which are really, really fun. And I love having that change in scenery, that change in terrain, not only because it's challenging on the body, but it's also challenging on the mind. You've got to really kind of pick your strategy. If you're looking up and you see a single track trail, do you put the hammer down on your competitor there, or do you catch him on the other side? So, I really like that variety within the venue.
And probably 95% of the races I've done have been, in the mountains or elevation or like rugged terrain. But I live in San Diego, and a lot of people don't realize running in sand is a whole different deal than running on trail or running on road.
Brutal. It's brutal, and especially on the calves and on the lower legs. But yeah, it's tough. But the cool thing is that one of the things for me is going up to some mountain in the middle of nowhere. It's cool and everything, but when you're done racing, you just want to get the hell out of there, right? Where what we're looking to do is have a destination race where you can run your race. We'll have a party out on the deck at a nice hotel, have the steak dinner, stay the night, wake up the next morning, you're on the beach again. How fun, you're not rinsing off in a hose, you rinse off in the ocean, I think it's going to bring a lot of, the races go, you're to your point, the race is going to be challenging. It's not going to be a slouch, but the party afterwards is going to be, I think, a blowout, which is cool.
You know, I don't know if it's my age or just what it is, but like you said, like once I finish a race, I'm kind of done. Like I feel bad because a lot of the companies invest a lot of money in the festival area, and a lot of people love the festival area. I'm kind of all right, let's go get some lunch, guys. But yeah, the beach, I could stay for the beach.
Yeah, and then and if we can pull off a 2-day race, then that's great too. If we can keep the beach, cleared off for 2 days, we'll do it. But yeah, I mean, one of my inspiration was I don't know if you ever did a Warrior Dash, but they're now gone, but they were super fun. I mean, you had the red hats with the horns on it, and you're eating turkey legs and drinking huge steins of beer, and it was like almost like the party was more. It was more about the party than it was about the race. But I'm kind of like, yeah, don't neglect the party. I mean, you earned it, right? You earned that beer. You earned that steak. So, unfortunately, with this year, our party's not going to be what we envision it. But
sure,
that's just where we are. No music. Not it's going to be a very, very muted, really a non-festival. It's going to be an award ceremony and kind of. But as soon as we've got this behind us and we can do this safely, we're going to come together again and gather up. And that's my hope is that people don't just want to bolt out of there. They want to hang out and have fun and then, walk to their hotel room.
Dan, let me ask you some like a big picture question. Even before COVID, it was kind of a weird year for OCR with Spartan buying Tough Mudder, and you mentioned Warrior Dash going away. Where do you kind of see, your company like in the future, or as a piece of the OCR industry? What do you see, in the next 2 years, 5 years, maybe?
We take over the world. No, look, we're just out to have fun. We're going to stay in Florida for a while. I want to really build Florida. I want to do races here. It's a beautiful state with a lot of fantastic venues. And it's, We're going to, I want to bring races, and I want to bring this concept out to as many racers as possible. As nice as Florida is, there's not a ton of races, and the ones that we do get are kind of concentrated in the middle of the state, which is great. But there's so much more to see. So we're going to really try to expand this out and grow this in Florida for a while. And then we'll go from there. But we're gonna take small steps, and we're gonna move comfortably into this thing. So
I really feel like OCR benefits from the like when they build a McDonald's on a corner, they're gonna build Burger King right next to it, and they'll probably build a Taco Bell across the street, kind of thing. I feel like OCR benefits from that too by having Spartan and Tough Mudder have similar venues, or maybe a month apart, and you have Savage out there. I think that. When you get a community of racers out there, they're always looking for the next race, and there obviously is competition, but I think that there's some feeding each other also.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. If you look at the history, it's hard to put an event together. It's hard to put a race together. There's a lot of things that go into it. And, I can't imagine what it was like to kind of start something and, you run on obstacles? I don't understand. Is this a road race? Is this a triathlon? What's going on? So we don't have to go, people know what this is now. So that makes it easier for somebody to start it up like myself. But the challenge is that they've set the bar high. So we've got to come out with good obstacles, good medals, good shirts, good party.
Sure. You've
got to bring it now. And so the barrier of entry is still tough because you've got to come in, with high standards. So, that's good. But my attitude is that there's a lot of guys kind of starting stuff up, and I like to collaborate as much as I can, because to me, the tide can lift all boats, and there's so much that you can do. We're not all going to be on the same weekend. To your point, we're going to have, and if I can help, promote you, and you can help promote me, and we can cross promote, and we can grow this thing. That's really what I love about this, I guess, business side of OCR, is that there's a lot of camaraderie within that as well too, which is really cool.
Where can people find out more and sign up for Hildervat?
So you can go to hildervat.com, and it's HILDERVAT.com. The October 24, which is right around the corner, this Saturday, is the only race on the board right now. So click on the race, get signed up, and get out there and have some fun.
Dan, any last thoughts on Hildervat or anything else?
No, let's go. Let's promote it. I mean, let's support this local race, guys. So get out and run it. There are still spots open, and look, man, we should sell out. I mean, not to be negative, but it's like I see a lot of messages out there going, "Man, 2020 sucked. Everything's virtual or nothing at all." I'm like, here's a race. Here's a race. We've got one in before the end of the year, which was really what we wanted to do. So we're having it. We're going, and it's going to be awesome.
Dan Woods, thanks much.
Thank you so much, Will. Appreciate that, man.
Special thanks to Dan Woods for preparing this episode. Well done, Dan. Good luck with Hildervat this weekend. If you are in North Florida or South Georgia, you should check it out. Go do a live race. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out our other shows at the OCR Report. Welcome to Kim DeVos on her new show, The OCR Coven. I will talk with you soon. Go spend time with someone you love.